Well, a very good morning from Spa-Francorchamps. It's round 3 of the 2021 Euroformula Open. My name is Harry Benjamin up in the commentary box. Thank you very much for your company. Slightly delayed this morning due to some electrical issues at the track caused by an absolute deluge that occurred last night. Thunder, lightning, storms, we had everything. But today, well, it isn't like it never happened, but it's very hot, sunny and blue skies with a few grey clouds lingering, air temperature 21 degrees Celsius. But we are going to get underway for race 2 here in Euroformula Open after a very dramatic and incident-strewn race 1. Alongside me in the commentary box to guide us all through it is Elliot Wood. Elliot, we had a good opening race yesterday, but it wasn't without incident.
Yeah, we had several crashes that unfortunately took quite a few drivers out of the race, and we had fast senior conditions yesterday. Today we were around 21 degrees air temp, 30 degrees track temp, and the track is totally dried from last night's absolute thunderstorm.
It really is, but also that would have made the track a lot greener as well, because we saw yesterday tyre degradation, particularly in Euroformula, is something that all these drivers are having to monitor and watch out for. But any bits of marbles that may have been built up from yesterday have been cleaned away. So it's not going to be like a brand new track, but it's going to be something that they're going to have to bed in again and try and find that grip, because the grip that they may have had yesterday might well not be there today.
Yep, and hopefully all the drivers will be using fresh sets of tyres for this race. You know, they have a limited number of sets they can use each weekend, and obviously they used new ones in qualifying and in race 1 yesterday. There's 2 races today, so they've got to make the remaining sets last. Some teams have actually brought the groove tyres to the grid, the wet tyres. I don't see any chance of rain coming, but potentially that's, you know, what they have as spares.
You never know here in Spa. We're in the Belgian Ardennes countryside where it can be sunny and blue skies and it can still rain, so never rule it out. The weather can change in an instant. Right now though, it does look fairly dry out on track as the cars make their way around the track to form up on the grid. 7 kilometres, 3.3 miles, 19 turns, 10 right, 9 left round Spa-Francorchamps. We're not actually in Spa, we're in the town of Francorchamps. Spa is a little bit further on, but we are absolutely in the beautiful Belgian Ardennes countryside, eastern Belgium, close to the borders of Germany and the Netherlands. Normally this place can fit about 70,000 spectators. Sadly, none here today as the circuit is technically closed to the public due to the ongoing pandemic, but we are so delighted that we're able to bring you some racing action in the form of Euroformula. All drivers on this grid vying to make it to the pinnacle of motorsport, learning their craft and fighting with the very best of the next generation right here in Euroformula Open. Actually, we're just watching Philippe Cominiars come up to slot into his grid box. He'll be starting right at the top in 3rd place after yesterday. The top 6 finishers yesterday are reversed, so whoever finished 6th yesterday, which I can tell you was Enzo Trulli, he will start from pole position, and it will be newcomer Christian Mansell from 2nd, and Philippe Cominiars will go from 3rd. And a word on Cominiars actually, who showed his best race so far yesterday, working his way up to finish 4th eventually from 9th on the grid, marking his best result so far this season. So a real show of improvement there from the Polish 19-year-old who slots in to 3rd place. So it's going to be a really tight battle once again. With it all to do though is our title contender, Elliot, Cameron Dass, who ended up with no points yesterday after a couple of incidents which eventually forced him to pull into the pit lane and retire the car.
Yeah, so essentially he had contact very early on in the race, got a puncture from that, went to pit, came back on, charged up the order, and then as he was kind of making up positions, he suddenly started steering down the straights. It looks very odd in camera. It looks quite exciting as well, particularly as the car was drifting in the opposite direction to where he was wanted to go. And it turns out that one of the front toe links on the steering had broken, and it was essentially moving one wheel over to the right gradually with each lap. And although he had set competitive lap times, eventually it was deemed too dangerous to drive, so he had to retire in the pits, and therefore he is starting 9th today.
Well, He's starting 9th. This man is starting on pole. Enzo Trulli for DriveX School Team, starting from pole position there. So he is in the best place possible to try and secure his first win of the season. He's had a pole position already in Portimao, hoping to convert it this time. Christian Mansell joins with Carlin for his first race in Euroformula this season. A really solid run for him. A couple of mistakes which forced him to lose track positions yesterday, but he still gets to go from second today. And as we mentioned, Philippe Caminiar's with one of his best races to date so far this year, going from third. Just ahead of Casper Stevenson. Again, a rookie driver this year for Van Amersfoort Racing, showing really great pace yesterday in the hunt, certainly, for a win today, going from fourth, just in front of Nazim Azman, who was so cool, calm and collected yesterday. I spoke to him before the race yesterday. The qualifying didn't quite go his way, but he said, yeah, I'll probably get a podium. It's in the bag, I think. I feel like I've got the pace and I'm confident. And what did he do? He went and got a podium. And this man, though, is our most recent race winner, Louis Foster, going from 6th place. Louis Foster looked calm and in control yesterday, going from pole and controlled the race from there. Enzo Scionti with a good run as well. He goes from 7th in the second of the DriveX cars, the 16-year-old American. Just in front of Vivian Cassay, who picked up some more points yesterday. She continues to improve and gain more experience. The Hungarian racing driver going from 8th place, just ahead of our current championship leader, Cameron Dass for Team Motor Park, from 9th, but can do a lot from there. Also, another return to the Euroformula Open. In place of Jack Crawford this weekend is Matthias Luton, replacing him for this weekend. He got caught up in a collision with 11th place man for today, Zdeněk Chovanec. Unfortunately, they both ended their races prematurely yesterday, which means they start from the back of the pack, along with Josh Mason in the number 21 RR Racing, who looked so good yesterday, has been showing strong pace. So we shall see what he can do. Well, let's run you through what happened yesterday then. It was a good start for poleman Louis Foster on the left. Josh Mason covering off Cameron Dass right on the inside. Dass with a great start. We'll then see a lock-up from Casper Stevenson further back. Then it's Christian Mansell, who's actually forced out wide there. It didn't affect him too much, but Louis Foster able to lead the way from Cameron Dass, who was able to jump Josh Mason going up through Eau Rouge as they head on to the long Kemmel Straight, the highest speed part. And this was where the very scary crash happened between Josh Mason and Cameron Dass. Thankfully, Josh Mason was able to park up his car safely, but that was him out of the race. On the restart, Louis Foster got away once again, and this was our second collision, which brought out another safety car. Chovanec trying his luck down the inside of Luton, but ultimately both ended up in the wall. But no one could trouble this man in the end, who controlled the pace all the way to the checkered flag. And it was Louis Foster who took the win for race 1 here in Spa, just in front of Nazim Azman and Casper Stevenson. And here we go then. This is your starting grid. Let's run you through it properly now. Enzo Trulli goes from pole position alongside Christian Mansell in the Carlin. A great start to his Euroformula debut. Philippe Caminiar's, the ever-improving Crypto Tower Racing team driver, in third ahead of Casper Stevenson. Nazim Azman goes from 5th after securing a podium yesterday, just in front of yesterday's race winner Louis Foster, who will be targeting another win today. Row 4 sees Enzo Scionti and Vivian Cassay in 7th and 8th, both hoping to improve on those results. Cameron Dass needs to score some points today to continue his championship charge. He goes from 9th ahead of Matthias Luton, Zdeněk Chovanec and Josh Mason, who retired yesterday after that scary incident. He is fine and pumped up to try and get as many points on the board, because he is fast this weekend in that RR car, and he is one to watch coming through from the back of the pack. Well, we are just moments away then from getting race 2 underway. We'll pull away for the formation lap. Enzo Trulli on the left-hand side of your screen, Christian Mansell on the right-hand side. The DriveX and Carlin cars, everyone seeming to get away okay from the grid. Josh Mason is away, and he will form up at the back once we come round. 7 kilometers, 3.3 turns. This track actually designed way back when, in 1920, held its first Grand Prix in 1925, and well, has really built up quite a reputation for itself. You may have noticed here on social media a few weeks ago that there was quite a bit of flooding here on the run-up to Eau Rouge. Thankfully, that was all dealt with, but as I mentioned right at the top of the show, we did have a bit of a deluge last night, but thankfully we managed to sort out the issues there. So thank you for sticking with us, and I think we're going to be able to put on some excellent racing for you. And actually, Elliot, we talked about it yesterday, the tyre degradation here is going to be once again another thing to watch out for. They were saved yesterday by the 2 safety car periods, but they're going to have to watch it. And Enzo Trulli as well. Do you think, now that he's at the front, he'll be able to actually pull away? Because actually, when he's able to be at the front and run with them, he's got the pace, but it's trying to come through the field. But he's also not used to managing a race from the start. So there's a lot to think about for Trulli.
Yeah, it's inexperience for a start, because obviously he's come straight from karting to Formula 4 and then to Euroformula. But being at the front of the race does mean you can control the pace, and when you control the pace, you're controlling your tyre degradation, you're controlling, you know, all of those factors far more than someone who is battling for position behind. However, Francorchamps is one of the best circuits for overtaking, so if you're trying to manage that first sector of the lap, you're going to become very susceptible down the Kemmel Straight. But at the same time as that, if you are managing the tyres in the first sector, you're actually going to have more of the tyres to use in the final sector of the lap, because of, you know, how long this circuit is. It's 7 kilometres, and there's so many high-speed, high-load corners that put a lot of strain on the rubber. So, you know, it requires a lot from a driver. It's a great educational experience, you could say.
And that's what they're all here for. They're here to learn and fight their way through the ranks to make it to the top echelons of motorsport. Some with very little experience, some with quite a bit. It's a really good mixed field of professional, high-quality drivers here in Euroformula Open. And no pit stops if you need to Euroformula as well. So we talked about tyre degradation just then, because they can't change the tyres. There is no pit stops. So we have to make it all the way to the end. After 14 laps, it'll be 35 minutes we run to, which we were timed out yesterday in the end because of our lengthy safety car periods while we cleared the Strucken cars from the track. But it is Cameron Dass who leads the way in the overall championship, 137 points. Louis Foster, though, now hot on his heels, 106 points for the young British driver. Nazim Asman now up to third with 88. Crawford with 82 points. So currently the highest rookie at the moment. But sadly, Jack Crawford not here this weekend. He's got other racing commitments, as so does Rafael Villagomez. So Crawford has been replaced by Luton, but VAR not running another car in place of Villagomez. So just the sole VAR car on the grid in the form of the number 25, Casper Stevenson, who is going for 4th place. And actually, 3 rookies occupy the top 4 spots, so it's a good show for the rookies at the moment. Enzo Scionti, the 4th of the rookies, in 7th, and Zdeněk Chovanec, another rookie there, down in 11th. As we see Enzo Trulli pull up into his grid spot, and they will all follow him, and we will get this race underway. Chovanec got a bit of a slow start yesterday from the grid, but no one stalled. But something to watch out for as we get going, and it will be 12 cars on the grid ready to go racing for race 2 of Euroformula. The green flag, the white and the black, and it is all eyes to the lights and foot to the floor as we go racing in Spa for race 2 here in Euroformula Open. Slow start in the back. It looks like Enzo Scionti struggling to get away, but Enzo Trulli is able to hold that inside line from pole position and carry that through La Source. At the back there, it looks like Nazim Asman getting caught out by the sausage curves and clatters it coming back onto the track. Casper Stevenson as well, a little bit further back, making his way through up into 2nd. Christian Mansell trying to find a way past Trulli, can't do it there, thinks better of it to go single file through Eau Rouge. Now this is where the slipstream effect and the toe can really be helpful. Josh Mason already finding the grass on the edge there. He won't want to try that again. He knows what happened there yesterday, but he's able to already make up a couple of places. And look at that, the number 88 is able to get through. That is Nazim Asman as well, 18, and Philippe Caminiars trying to get through there, both getting Enzo Trulli. So Caminiars currently leading this race ahead of Asman, and Trulli now down to 3rd after using that toe and slipstream brilliantly on the Kemmel Straight. So Trulli, unfortunately, being at the front of the pack has not helped him out at all, and there's a little bit of a battle there between Louis Foster and the car behind him as well. That looks like Cameron Dass trying to find his way up as well. Christian Mansell's fallen back too. Enzo Trulli stabilising in third now. So it is Caminiars, Asman, Trulli, Foster, Mansell, your top 5.
Incredible double slipstream from Nazim Asman, passing 2 cars at once. Enzo Trulli actually one of the slowest off the line, as we see Christian Mansell being swamped. This is only his 2nd race in Euroformula, loses another spot there. So he is now down to 6th place with several cars ahead and behind him. I think the top 3 have broken away here quite well as we come through the final sector. Someone's dropped a wheel in the gravel but kept it going. They're very fast corner, so very lucky to actually keep it back on track. Seeing the updated order on the left there, so Mansell 5th, Cameron Das 6th, Casper Stevenson in 7th, Zednet Chovanec going alongside. I think that's Vivian Costadi for 8th place, so that's another position gain for him despite that slow start at the beginning of the race. And it's about 4 wide. Christian Mansell dives outside, coming to the final chicane. Well, it's going to make it 3 wide. And he has just been Mecca Hakkinen there through into the final corner. Christian Mansell does emerge from that in 5th place. Cameron Das in 6th. Casper Stevenson's just lost a spot, so I think he's now in 8th as we complete this first lap.
Brave stuff there from Mansell as well, going round 2 into the bus stop chicane. So although making his debut, he's not afraid to get his elbows out. Mansell in the Carlin currently occupying 4th spot just behind Trulli, who has been overtaken by yesterday's race winner Louis Foster, who has found himself up in 2nd now, chasing down Asman. Caminiars, after taking the lead very briefly, has fallen down to 6th place now, ahead of Stevenson and Chauvenet. Mason's made his way up 1 position as well, just behind Luton, who is currently occupying the top 10 spot. But here we go then, Louis Foster stalking Asman like a hawk, trying to get the toe, can't quite make it there. The top 3 broken away a little bit, but it is Mansell trying to fend off the rest of the pack behind him, all taking the toe. He's able to do it and hold on to 4th, but he is having to defend from everybody. Stevenson, Caminiars, Das, Chovanec, all right up there behind him, all the way back to last place 12th currently, Schionti, who is having a little look at Luton in the background, as we see Chovanec now going around the outside of that looks like Cameron Das, but Cameron Das not having any of it, keeps the foot to the floor, coming up into Pouon now, and that long left-hander, double left-hander, negative camber as well. The tyres will be screeching, but Das now looks like he's actually fallen behind Caminiars after that, but he will not give up without a fight. And now Das coming under pressure, it looks like, from
Joshua Mason.
Josh Mason.
So double R racing drivers with that slightly lower wing level are doing very well here.
No, that's Caminiars, apologies, I think, coming under pressure there. That's the number 88 coming under pressure.
Coming around, so the top 11 are all together. Cameron Das has actually just made a move on, well, look, 2 cars actually. Timing screen taking a little while to update as we're following this battle further down the order for 9th place. That is Josh Mason in 9th, Philippe Caminiars up ahead. We're now back at the front field. Louis Foster about to overtake Nazim Asman for the lead, picking the outside line for the final chicane. He's going to duck back inside, try and swap around. This is the battle reversed in the other race. We had Foster leading, Asman in 2nd. This time it's Asman ahead and Foster trying to find a way through. They come across the lines, complete the 2nd lap. 1/3 of a second splits those 2. Enzo Trulli comfortable in 3rd. Christian Mansell back up to 4th. I think he's almost been in every single position in this race so far. Casper Stevenson 5th. Cameron Das 6th. But it does look like Josh Mason. So Chauvenec's ahead. Mason's behind him. And Mason's just made the pass on Caminiars. So he's now up to 8th. Caminiars down to 9th. Caminiars was up in 2nd a lap ago, I thought. Costadi 10th. Quite a lot's happening. Quite
a lot's happening. Changes everywhere you look. Caminiars now down to 8th behind Chauvenet, and Das is into 6th. Josh Mason there with a brilliant move as well, going into La Source, locking up but getting the job done. And here is the battle for the lead. Louis Foster coming across on Nazim Asman, but he's got him into Lecum. Louis Foster takes the lead here in race 2 for Euroformula Open ahead, and Nazim Asman, and this is a battle further back in the back. Once again, Josh Mason getting his elbows out, trying for all his might to get through. He's already ahead of Costadi now. Caminiars is his next target. Mason up from the back of the pack all the way to 9th already, and clearly with a strong car underneath and a little bit of a lock up there, still able to keep the car turned in. His next target will be Caminiars, who is down 5 spots there, so it's not been a good opening start for Caminiars, who's lost the most positions. Foster, our race leader, has gained the most, 5 positions. Asman in 2nd, gained 3. Trulli has lost that in 2, but currently stabilising in 3rd ahead of Christian Mansell. And here's a little move that looks like Cameron Das trying it down the inside of Casper Stevenson. No way through there. The rookie Stevenson defending for all his might in the VAR car ahead of Cameron Das in the Motor Park machine. As the team Motor Park boys and girls watch on. here is third place man Enzo Trulli, only 16 years old, currently third, son of the 2004 Monaco F1 race winner Jarno Trulli, showing his stuff and what he's made of. 1.6 seconds the gap back to Trulli from Louis Foster, who is your leader.
Now I'm wondering if Foster and Asman have different wing levels, because and both of them were trying to get through the field. Here's a Casper Stevenson under pressure from Cameron Dass again. And Chovanec under pressure as well from Philippe Caminiars. Motorpart drivers looking particularly racy today. Chovanec keeps position. So Foster was on pole yesterday, had a different wing level because he was expecting to lead the race. Asman didn't. Now both of them come through the field. Is Foster going to be susceptible to an overtake? Now he's ahead. Chovanec now taking that position into turn one. Caminiars is going to cut across. He's going to want to reclaim it back. And they've got a queue of 2, 3, 4 cars behind them now who are going to make use of the slipstream as they go up the Camel Straight. Here's a replay start. Look at Enzo Trulli on the left.
You're right, he did get a little bit of a slow start, but so did Mansell, who sort of got blocked off by a charging Caminiars, who had a brilliant start, almost, well, up to second eventually after Les Sources, and they all made their way through, and then that looked like potentially Asman going out wide there and clattering the curb, so he made a great comeback there. Look at Mansell in front. He tries to come across to the right, but then Caminiars is just charging through and not having anything on it.
And that's it. Asman comes to the left, then back down to the right. Brilliant driving there, because the outside line is not where you want to be on that corner. See us bogging down on the start further back. So looking back at the lead battle going right now, Louis Foster and Nazim Asman are very close together coming down into Pouhon. There is 7/10 of a second between the pair. So Foster clearly pulled away down the Camel Straight or through the first sector of this lap. So potentially that wing level is perfectly attuned to being in the lead of the race. Maybe he's expecting to be in the lead. Here's a replay of Josh Mason going free ride with teammates Chovanec and Philippe Caminiars. So Caminiars did the double there on the Double R Racing drivers, and another classic Mika Hakkinen moment.
Well, I would like to see what happened to Caminiars, because we saw him with that brilliant start, leading the race and then falling all the way back down to 8th, 9th, 10th. He's now working his way back, so I imagine he was probably a victim of that huge tow that they were all getting behind Trulli on lap 1. But currently, it is Foster, Asman and Trulli, your top 3. Chovanec just ahead of Mason at the moment, battling there with Caminiars not too far in front of them either. Kasei rounds out the top 10, just ahead of Matthias Luthen, and Enzo Schionti currently 12. He was the slow car that we saw right at the start, so bogging down there, crucially not stalling. And here is the battle then for 8th currently. Josh Mason down the inside of Zdeněk Chovanec into the bus stop chicane. Chovanec keeping his nose in there. Mason's going to have to try and do the up and under. Can't make it work there. Back onto the main straight. The battle for 8th position rages on. Josh Mason with a huge amount of pace this weekend has a little look down into La Source. Doesn't want to do it there. Smart thinking from Mason into La Source, into the run up to Eau Rouge. Now this is where he can really benefit from that beautiful tow and slipstream that all the drivers crave so much around here.
And we're currently on board with Casper Stevenson in 6th place. He's following Cameron Dass, who has just set the fastest lap of the race. Very quick final sector. Here's lining up Christian Mansell for a move. He's going to draw alongside. Now actually Enzo Trulli's been caught out very quickly. Free wide again. They're all doing the Mika Hakkinen today. Cameron Dass passed 2 at once down the inside. He's ahead of Mansell. He's ahead of Trulli. He is up into 3rd place now. Christian Mansell down to 4th. Trulli down 2 spots now. He must have been very slow coming onto Kemmel. And we're going further back. Caminiars in battle with Matthias Luthen. He's going to potentially lose another spot here. So he's going down the order. So is Enzo Trulli. Cameron Dass going all the way up.
As is Josh Mason, who has got past Chovanec too, but Dass with a beautiful move. You're right, down the inside of 2 cars there. Your championship leader currently also with the fastest lap, which is crucial here, because come the end of the race, the fastest race lap time will be pole position for race 3, and then it will go down like that in terms of fastest race lap times. Currently Dass holding on to that, and right on the back of Mansell currently, less than 1/10 of a second behind him. Mansell currently occupying 3rd. Our pole man, Enzo Trulli, fallen back down to 5th as well, coming under pressure eventually from Casper Stevenson. Dass now in front of Mansell. There he is. We see Mansell there coming through, and it will be Cameron Dass now up to 3rd place in this race. And now the battle for 2nd will start to rage on as he closes in on Asman.
Yeah, so Enzo Trulli lost over 2 seconds in that middle sector. He's now coming under pressure from Casper Stevenson, so there's potentially an issue at the start of the lap. His car looks fine. There doesn't appear to be any damage. Casper Stevenson dives down the inside. As you came, Enzo Trulli, no attempt to defend that. So, you know, very mysterious there. Caminiars has actually regained 7th place, so there's a lot of jostling further down the field. It's a bit confusing. Louis Foster totally escaped up front. He's now 1.6 seconds clear. Cameron Dass, though, closing in 4.5 seconds back, but another fastest lap.
Stick with it, this battle is far from over. Foster may be leading by 1.6 seconds after 5 laps. However, Asman is there in the front mirror. There isn't a front mirror on these cars, but Dass can see him. He's just a few seconds back now, Cameron Dass, and he'll be getting his head down and chasing him for second, and then on to Louis Foster for the lead. You can see all three, the top 4 there, all on the Kemmel Straight, and then 5 and 6 come through there. That battle's heating up nicely, although Truly, as we said, has just been taken by Stevenson, but Truly coming back at Stevenson. The rookie drivers battling it out. Casper Stevenson on the left-hand side, defending that inside line. Truly having to think again where he can try and make the move back and regain 5th position. Casper Stevenson 5th. Enzo Truly 6th, ahead of a recovering Caminiars, though, who looks to sort of petered out slightly in 7th there. Josh Mason closing in behind him, just 1.5 seconds behind. Chovanec in 9th, Luton 10th, Kasei is 11th, Scionti currently last of the runners in 12th.
Yeah, Trulli's now actually just hit his personal best in Sector 1, but the car is looking very rough, particularly as he goes over the curb. So potentially it's just a handling issue there that he's fighting with, and at a circuit as long as this, you know, it is going to punish you over a very long lap. Christian Mansell doing a good job holding on to 4th position. He's got quite the advantage over Casper Stevenson still. Another personal best by Cameron Dass in 3rd place. So although the gaps kind of opened up now, they're still within slipstream distance, so we could see them close in once more. And because we've had no safety cars, hopefully we're going to get the full distance of this race.
Yes, everyone keeping it clean so far. Let's have a look at this. That's the number 25. That is Casper Stevenson getting through on Enzo Truly in the battle for 5th down the inside of the bus stop chicane. Truly then trying to take a wider line to come back at him, but still fighting away there for 5th place. We're looking at Nazim Asman right now, the Malaysian 19-year-old, racing for the Crypto Tower Racing team. Scored a podium yesterday in 2nd, hoping to repeat that today, and if he can reel in Foster, do one better. But Foster is going to be clinging on to this for all he might. He wants this race win, and he'll get ever closer to Cameron Dass, currently leading the way, 137 points, 106 Foster. This would make the title fight even tighter, as we see Louis Foster there coming through Eau Rouge. The 17-year-old from Great Britain made his debut in Euroformula in 2020. With 1 win and 3 podiums for Double R, then moved over for this year to the Crypto Tower Racing team, and so far it is working out rather well for him.
Yeah, and it's the same top 2 as we had yesterday. Louis Foster and Nazim Asman, who started towards the front yesterday, but started in the middle of the pack today and just charged their way through. Now, I imagine they set their cars up to be doing overtaking rather than leading the race, but they've absolutely checked out at the front of the field. Cameron Dass is matching their pace, but not enough to really close in right now. And Christian Mansell doing an incredible job. 1-car operation this weekend, Carlin, hasn't been in the championship for the first 2 rounds. Christian Mansell, as far as I'm aware, did 1 day in the Dallara 320 car just to kind of learn, you know, the steering wheel, where the pedals are and everything. But coming to this weekend, being on the pace and doing a very good job right now.
Yeah, Carlin choosing to enter Mansell this weekend in Euroformula to gain some experience with Spa and the beautiful Euroformula machine as well, to try and get him as much experience of different racing machines, because he's only he's very, very young in his racing career as well. Naturally a rookie, the New South Wales Australian. Christian Mansell, no relation to Nigel.
No moustache either. We always need to make that clear.
He's a bit, I think he, maybe one day, but I think he might be a bit young for that at the moment, we'll see. But he's also balancing this campaign with British Formula 3 as well, with Carlin, currently sitting 4th in the standings, I believe. He's got a win from Brands Hatch. But 2019 really is when he started in anger with his career after karts in Australian Formula 4, working his way up to British F4, taking the rookie title with Carlin.
And he's on course for a rookie class win right now. Casper Stevenson is 2 seconds behind, so those are the top 2 in the rookie classification.
Dass closing in as well on Asman incrementally for 2nd. I think this is going to come to a tasty little battle towards the end of the race, because I imagine now actually this is the point in the race where, because we have not had any safety cars or any long stoppages, they're going to start thinking about preserving their tyres.
And Zednet Chovanec down in 9th place is about to be overtaken by Matthias Luton, so that is the move done at turn 1, and it looks like Vivian Castells coming with them, so potentially down the Kemmel Straight we're going to have another 3 wide moment. We've had 4 or 5 already this race. Very perplexing that, you know, the double R racing drivers are battling each other only 2 laps ago, and now Chovanec's dropped back into the clutches of this back trio of cars, and I imagine they are definitely going to go 3 wide.
And as they do, Luton putting on a good display. He's got further into this race than he did yesterday after Chovanec, the man he's defending on, put him in the wall at this very corner. He'll be hoping that doesn't happen once again. This is the exact same move that Chovanec tried yesterday on Luton, but he gets through this time. Chovanec up into 9th ahead of Luton. And Kasei watching on in the background as well. She wants to have a little taste of this. As she does, she puts her nose down the inside of Luton. That forces Luton out wide. Can't quite be late on the brakes. Scionti as well in 12th place, watching all this unfold, hoping that they trip over each other and can allow him to get past all 3 of them. But so far, that battle for 9th looks like this. It is Chovanec, Luton, Kasei and Scionti.
Very, very close battle, and it's, you know, only 2 points are up for grabs in 9th place, but it clearly means a lot for these 4 drivers. And the fact that they have converged, because, you know, they were quite far apart earlier, and we're in the middle of this race, and they've come back together at the front of the field. The gaps are getting slightly larger. Cameron Dass consistently the only driver to be lapping in the 2-minute 11s. Everyone else around him in the 2-minute 12s, but he's only taking, you know, 1 or 2 tenths per lap out of the drivers ahead. Chovanec's actually kind of gapped Matthias Luton there coming into the final section of this lap. Out of Stavelot, going along to Blanchimont, one of the fastest and most difficult corners on this track.
Well, that is a tasty fight there. Another fight that is brewing, just 4 tenths of a second now between 2nd and 3rd. You can see it on screen now. That is Nazim Azman ahead of Cameron Dass, who has really reeled in Azman in the last lap. Look at that. Lap 8, 7 tenths of a second quicker. Consistently faster than Azman there. The Cameron Dass, the championship leader currently from America, racing here in Euroformula. He knows how this championship works, and he is eyeing up 2nd place for the taking. Onto the Kemmel straight they go. This is where the toe comes in handy. Azman, wise to it, defending that inside line for all he might, but I think Dass is going to get him even before they get into the braking zone. Dass has a little squiggle just to make sure he's got that covered. Dass through on Azman for 2nd place as they go into Les Combes. Foster, Dass, Azman, your top 3, and now it could be Mansell trying his luck for 3rd place on the podium if Azman is starting to fall off the pace. Stevenson in 5th, and this is the battle once again for 9th. Chovanec having to defend once again for all his might from Matthias Luton. In behind them, Vivian Kasei still watches on. Scionti only a further 2nd back from Kasei. This 4 tight battle all over for 9th position. Kasei having another little look there at Luton. Luton wise to it. Chovanec has the raw pace advantage, it seems, over Luton, but then just gets caught in that long Kemmel straight, isn't able to pull enough of a gap to break the toe that these drivers are going to get behind him. Luton, of course, in the 2nd car coming through your screen there, making a return to Euroformula this year, subbing for Jack Crawford, the German driver, racing for Team Motorbart from Hamburg. He did 4 races in 2020 in Euroformula. Focuses now mainly on prototype racing in the Le Mans Cup, racing an LMP3 machine, so very different type of machine for this. So to jump in, doing an admirable job so far for the German driver in the number 40 Team Motorpark car. But Chovanec seemingly trying to forge a gap before they get to Eau Rouge. Mason as well closing in on Caminiars. Less than a second between them now. That battle's been coming for a few laps. Josh Mason hasn't had enough yet. He wants a fight for 7th. Truly, our pole sitter. And here he is, holding on for 6th place. He's lost 5 positions, as has Caminiars, who was oddly enough in the lead of this race for about 3 seconds. Right at the start, fallen back to 7th, where it's kind of evened out. But you can see Josh Mason in the back there, just stalking them, planning his move. The man from Sussex. Such a good race for him. Well, it wasn't a good race for him, but he's had good race pace all weekend. Unfortunately got caught up in a collision at this very point yesterday, which sent him skyward. Thankfully, he was able to come back down on all 4 wheels, but it meant he didn't finish the race and had to start from the back, which has meant it has all been very hard work for him today, but so far showing he's got the pace and currently chasing down Caminiars and Truly in front of him. It's been a very tight battle today, actually, but up and down the grid.
Yeah, I mean, you normally wait a few years at a time for one of those kind of 2-in-1 Mick Hakkinen style passes, but we've had 4 of them in this race. So we're being absolutely treated here. And you know, Spa-Francorchamps is a great track for overtaking, but even in high downforce cars such as the Lara 320, it's always that little more difficult because of the dirty air and essentially how big the cars are these days as well. You know, they occupy more track space, but they're doing a very good job. Enzo Trulli, very mysterious kind of dropping down the order, but I think it's simply just a handling issue here. And Filip Kaminia is kind of going up and down, a bit like a yo-yo. I imagine he could even, you know, chase down Casper Stevenson in 5th place if he can get past Enzo Trulli. But with 5 laps to go, we really don't know how the tyre degradation is going to play into this as well, because Louis Foster, our race leader, who is now almost 5 seconds ahead, said it would be hugely impactful how much you look after the tyres going into this midday race. So very interesting to see how this is going to play out.
He was worried about how the tyres would handle. Couldn't quite put a pin in it either as to what exactly was causing the huge tyre degradation, a mixture of the heat and a number of other elements. So certainly working on that management. Cameron Das, crucially, still with the fastest lap time, which will give him pole position for tomorrow. If he can stay in 2nd place, that will be a great recovery after yesterday's did not finish. Asman about 8 tenths back, keeping him honest, as is Mansell to Asman as well. And then we have this tight little trio of Trulli, Kaminiars and Josh Mason in the background, who has really clawed them in now. 3 tenths between Kaminiars and Trulli, 4 tenths between Mason and Kaminiars. I have a feeling Kaminiars is eyeing up Trulli here for a spot up the grids as we come on to the Kemmel straight. This is the battle further up as the leading trio, Das, Asman and Mansell, come through. That's 2nd, 3rd and 4th. That battle's heating up, so the battle for 2nd and 6th really heating up. Casper Stevenson in 5th, but it looks like Kaminiars has now got through on Enzo Trulli.
Yeah, so he would have done that at the end of the Kemmel straight and likely be closing in on Casper Stevenson now. We've got battles absolutely everywhere. Nazem Asman just set his personal best in Sector 1, so he's closing back in on Cameron Das for 2nd place. He wants to recreate the Crypto Tower Racing Team 1-2 we saw in Saturday's race. Motorpark driver Cameron Das currently stopping that from occurring. Das consistently was in the 2-minute 11s earlier, but now he's actually the slowest of our top 4 cars, which we can see 3 of right now. Louis Foster's probably just backing off because he's got such a big lead. He can enjoy the scenery a bit and, of course, look after those tyres, as he said.
And just picking up on Casper Stevenson there, now that Kaminiars has broken through on Trulli. Stevenson has actually sort of been in a bit of no man's land, really, on his own in 4th. Well, actually, no, say that. He's now closing in to about 7 tenths of a second to Asman. So he's proving me wrong, actually. He's now catching Mansell in front of him, and Kaminiars then catching Stevenson as well. As we focus on the battle for 2nd, hotting up between Cameron Das, Nazem Asman and Christian Mansell. And here is the battle a little further back. Josh Mason going to try and move round the outside into the bus stop chicane. No, can't quite make it there. Going for the up and under. Let's try and get more traction out of the final corner and along the main straight. Will he be able to do anything down into La Source? Trulli seeing it coming, tries to defend, taking the inside line. That will force Mason to the outside. But Mason will be able to swing it in and get a lot more momentum, which is exactly what he needs in the run-up to Eau Rouge. Josh Mason in the number 21 RR Racing machine, catching Enzo Trulli, who was the pole sitter for this race, going up through Eau Rouge, single file through there, but crucially able to get right up in his diffuser to get some slipstream, which we might see if we come back to it here. We're just seeing the end of the Kemmel Straight and the 2nd, 3rd and 4th battle here. We'll keep an eye on to see if Mason has been able to get through on Trulli, and it looks like he has been able to do that, most likely at the end of the Kemmel Straight going into Les Combes under braking. So Mason up into 7th, through on Trulli, continuing his charge up the field. Trying now to hold on to Kaminiars in 6th, and then we have Stevenson with a bit of a gap, and then we have this battle right here, Asman, Mansell and Stevenson. Das, Asman and Mansell. Stevenson then a little bit further detached. And Das keeping Foster honest though at 4.8 seconds. That's quite consistent, and I imagine that is Foster, as we mentioned, just managing his pace, not going too fast when he doesn't need to, protecting the tyres, conserving his energy so he can finish the race and get another race win under his belt. But we've still got a few more laps to go.
And there's one more factor that could come into play. Several drivers further down the field have had repeated warnings and lap times deleted for track limits, particularly at turn 9. Now, once you rack up too many of those, penalties come in. We haven't had any of them on their final warning yet, but in the final 3 laps, it's very well possible that could occur.
Foster, Das, Asman, there on your screen now, and Mansell just behind him. The battle for second, third and fourth. Just over a second separating all of them in this battle. But it looks like Asman is able to hold certainly Mansell at bay, and then Das able to create nearly a second now gap back to Asman. So actually I would put Asman as the in the weaker position here in this sandwich between Mansell and Das, because I get the sense that actually Asman won't be looking too much at the car in front of him as we go onto the Kemmel Straight, the highest speed part of the circuit. He'll be looking in his mirrors to see where Mansell goes and how quickly Mansell can close in down the Kemmel Straight. Louis Foster just exiting picture there as your race leader. Then comes second, Das, and it looks like they're all fairly evenly spaced out. So no moves to be done there. Kasei within a second of Chovanec now, further back in the pack for 9th. And this was Matthias Luton getting his braking all wrong. And I think Scionti as well going a bit late on the brakes there, but keeping it on the road. I think actually that was Luton getting caught out by Kasei perhaps on a bit early on the brakes there for the Hungarian racing driver, forcing Luton to take evasive action, but he's managed to rejoin on track. And it is Chovanec, Kasei, Luton and Scionti currently the last 4 runners, 9th to 12th. And then these, the battle ever raging on, Das, Asman, Mansell. Meanwhile, Louis Foster having it all his own way so far. Still holding a gap, about 4.7 seconds to Das. But I think Cameron Das will just be pleased to bring it home with no damage on the car for today's race and bag a huge haul of points. He's been fast all weekend, on that is in no doubt. Got caught out yesterday by the incident with Josh Mason, which impacted his steering, which got worse and worse and worse throughout the race, and eventually they had to call him into the pits. And I spoke to Cameron after the race, and he said he would have happily gone to the end, wrestling that car, where suddenly one corner feels like 4 corners. Hearing a little bit of a lock-up there in the background. Is that Luton there getting a little bit deep into the bus stop chicane? He's now coming under a lot of pressure there. Further back, Scionti there for last, but this battle we're watching now, Asman really coming under pressure from Mansell. Mansell having a little look, can't do anything about it there. Through La Source they go.
And hopefully we can see the tyres there, because you can see the kind of strips or the circles on the tyres. That is when the deg is getting quite serious. And it looks like slightly that Asman might have that. Mansell could line up a move here down the Kemmel Straight.
Asman has been losing pace the last couple of laps, 1.3 seconds now, the gap between him and Das, and that has put him under immense pressure from the rookie Christian Mansell making his debut here. Doesn't quite get onto the grass, goes to the outside, tucks back in behind Asman to try and get that toe. Crucially, is now able to get up alongside him and have that inside line. Is he up alongside him enough? No, he isn't. Has to tuck back in as they go through Les Combes. Stays as is. Asman 3rd, Mansell 4th.
And Vivian Castelli actually went past Zednet Chovanec into La Source, but I don't know coming out the corner who was ahead, because we were following this battle. They'll be down the Kemmel Straight. Joshua Mason's just past Philippe Caminiard, so everything is converging. Again, last warning, car 66 for track limits. That's Zednek Chovanec. So everything's getting pretty dicey right now. Hopefully we're going to go back a few positions to see what happens in the Mason-Caminiards battle, and also with Chovanec and Castelli.
And crucially, this is the final lap. We're on lap 13. It will be the final lap when Louis Foster comes round. He's 4.7 seconds currently ahead of Cameron Das, who has the fastest lap. That will mean pole position for tomorrow if he can hold on to it. Asman clinging on for dear life in 3rd from Christian Mansell, who's come alive in this last couple of laps after perhaps a bit of tyre saving and just settling into a rhythm behind Asman. Of course, Mansell making his debut here, getting up to speed with this car and with this type of circuit as well, getting some experience of the beautiful Spa-Francorchamps. But with 5 seconds the gap between 1st and 2nd as Louis Foster comes through Blanchimont. And down into the heavy braking zone of the bus stop chicane. The 17-year-old Crypto Tower Racing driver in the number 27, Louis Foster, has done it again, and he will come down the main straight and take the checkered flag first. Louis Foster is your race 2 winners. That is 2 wins so far this weekend, ahead of Cameron Dass, and Nazim Azman holds on to 3rd, Mansell in 4th. Casper Stevenson will come home in 5th place, ahead of what will be Josh Mason, as we see Caminios with a really big slide coming out of the bus stop chicane. A great comeback drive there from Josh Mason from last to 6th. 7th, Caminios truly comes home in 8th. Chovanec in a very tight battle with Kasey, Luton and Scianti all over 9th place. The last of the runners here. Looks like Chovanec has the better of them. He comes home in 9th, Kasey 10th. Luton will come home in 11th and Scianti in 12th. And gratefully, we all have finishes. We have all 12 finishes. So no retirements this race, but there is your race winner, who once he got into the lead took it sublimely and controlled the race to take the 2nd win of the weekend, ahead of Cameron Dass and Nazim Azman, who rounds out the podium. Mansell in 4th, Stevenson in 5th, Josh Mason with a brilliant comeback drive from last to 6th, Philippe Caminiars 7th after showing promising pace, fell back a bit, truly 8th, Chovanec 9th, and a very heated battle with Vivian Kasey over those last few points paying positions, down in 10th. And then Matthias Luton able to finish the race this weekend. He didn't finish race 1, but he comes home in 11th. And Enzo Scianti, the last of the runners, and that's what it does to the championship battle. Now just 27 points between Louis Foster and Cameron Dass, who currently tops the timings. Nazim Azman, crucially, with some more points in the bag. Another podium for him. Consistency is key in these kinds of junior formula. So Azman, I think, will take a lot of encouragement from that this weekend. The race winning pace doesn't quite look there, but I think he'll take the 2 podiums so far. And Dass will be ultimately very happy that he's able to score some points today. And I think Louis Foster, though, will be the happiest of them all, with another race win. He won here last year in Spa as well. Coming this weekend, he didn't have any wins so far this season in Euroformula. Was saying he's just desperate to get a win on the board. You know, he's really shown his pace so far. Multiple 2nd place positions, multiple 3rd, finally getting a win and then getting a 2nd win. Just seeing if we can have a little listen there. Any juicy information? Christian Mansell should be very happy with that drive there to 4th. In only his 2nd race in Euroformula Open. I think the Carlin team will take that a 5th and a 4th so far. We have race 3 coming up later, which that man on screen, Cameron Dass, will be in pole position as he took the fastest lap in this race, which was heated battles all the way, but ultimately your podium looked like this. It was Nazim Azman who takes his 2nd podium of the weekend in 3rd place. Then in 2nd, Cameron Dass, able to get some points on the board after his retirement yesterday for Team Motorpark, coming home in 2nd. But it looked like no one could match this man once again. Louis Foster is your race winner. Let's hear from him now.
Louis, it's one more win at Spa. Getting used?
Yeah, not quite used to it yet. It's still quite a good fun track to drive around. Yeah, that race is great. I think our aim for that race is really to get a fast lap for the next race to set us up for the quali on that race. And then yeah, maybe a podium was what we were aiming for, but you know, after the first lap, I think we were already in P2. So you know, we just get going from there and try and catch Nazim and pass. And we didn't really seem to have too much issue with passing anyone in that race. And then once I got past Nazim, tried to make the gap in the 2nd sector so he wouldn't get the toe again. Managed to do that, and then from there on just kept pushing and pushing. I think probably 2, 3, 4 tenths a lap, and to a point where I was miles ahead, so I could just kind of back off and save the tyres.
And of course, it's good for the championship.
Yeah, very good. I mean, Cam's done a really good job. I was kind of surprised when I saw him at P2. Obviously, he came from P9, so yeah, I know he's still pretty close, obviously, and I think me and him are now, I don't know how many points, but pretty close. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the last race today. We're going to try to go for the triple, but we'll see how it is, because Cam's going to be right up there with us, and you know, Cam will be a quick competitor. So,
Well done. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Well, let's take a look at how race 2 unfolded. It was Enzo Trulli on pole ahead of Christian Mansell, but it was Philippe Cominiards there storming through to try and take second and then go on to take the lead very briefly as they all make it through the source. It looked like Matthias Lutzen in the background. They're getting forced out wide and then clattering the curb on his return. Enzo Trulli under a huge amount of pressure from Cominiards at the very start of this race in the battle for the lead, heading up Eau Rouge on to the Kemmel Straight, and here was where the tow proved most effective. Louis Foster able to get ahead of Nazim Azman and Trulli in the early stages, and then Louis Foster able to take the lead overall in front of Azman, and both of them got Trulli a little earlier on. This was a battle a little further back in the pack. Josh Mason coming through the back of the pack, fighting with Cameron Dass, who managed to do a brilliant move down Mason and Chauvenet to take 2 at the end of the Kemmel Straight. And then further pain for Enzo Trulli, who was then overtaken by Casper Stevenson, the pole man not being able to hang with the leaders. Then this battle ended in tears in race 1. Race 2, Chauvenet able to get the move done on Luton, and this fierce battle for the last points paying positions. But no one could match this man once again, who's done the double here in Spa with 1 race still to go. Louis Foster is your race winner from race 2 here in Euroformula, ahead of Cameron Dass and Nazim Azman, who take their positions on the podium. Louis Foster there, very bullish in the interview, wants to do the triple. The only person who has done the triple so far this season is Cameron Dass in round 1. But Louis Foster standing on the top step of the podium, Cameron Dass in second, Nazim Azman in third, and then the leading rookie driver there as well, which will be Christian Mansell. The British national anthem there for your race winner, race 2 here in Spa for the Euroformula Open. Louis Foster takes the win ahead of Cameron Dass and Nazim Azman. Well, we do go again a little later on today for race 3, in which Cameron Dass will start from pole position, as he has taken the fastest lap in this race. But Louis Foster looking like the man to beat so far. Do join us again a little later this afternoon for race 3 here in Spa when Euroformula Open returns.
Forte perché